Oh, wow. So, this next topic is kind of, well, I think they're all to a certain degree near and dear. I am a huge proponent of hip hop culture. I grew up, my first tape was the A side was Run DMC Raising Hell. The B side was Beastie Boys License to Ill. I love basketball, video game culture. Just there's definitely a competitive spirit that runs through a lot of the things that I grew up being a part of. Playing baseball, all sports in general, track and field, and even my friend groups, there's a lot of, just back and forth. Like, we competed with each other. I mean, it was all love. It wasn't, there's individuals, like, when you're competing that you're like, yo, I really want to beat this person. And, but it was all really to push our performance, our personal performance level to the next stage. Like, we knew to talk that talk, we had to walk that walk, and to walk it meant we had to perform at a level that was higher than we ever had done previously. There's a level of self-confidence, self-reliance. Ego is a big part of it, but you have to believe that you can do these things. Self-hypnosis, putting positive thoughts into the air. There's just a lot that goes along with that type of competition. And I grew up with that my whole life. Between family and friends. And it became, even if it was an open dialogue between me and another person, a lot of times I had to create a level of competition within myself just to push myself to perform at another level. Like, you challenge yourself to break a barrier, to be in a space, that you can be proud of. And, that's what the spirit of competition did or does in my eyes, in that realm. So I, of course, am still a fan of the things that I was a fan of when I was a kid. I still love music. I still love hip hop. I still love basketball. I still love competitive sports. I still, even in a professional sense, I want to perform to the level or outperform my peers. In that space, it's not really a direct competition, but I just want to feel like I'm one of the top performers or purveyors of my particular skill set. It's just a thing for me. And something that's not talked about, unfortunately, but I'm going to talk about it, is there's a cultural side to this. In the professional world, I'm in a field that is dominated mainly by people who don't look like me. I am a black man, and there's not a lot of black men in the field where I'm at. It's not a common sight. And anytime you're in a space, my experience in life has been, every time I'm in a space where I'm the minority, a lot of times my performance level needs to be elevated to a degree unlike my peers. Like, for me to garner a level of respect, I have to perform at a consistent level that my peers just aren't required to. And unfortunately, that is an overwhelming tint in a lot of professional spaces. So, as far as competitive, realizing that's just another motivator to step my game up. So, time goes on, and culture and all of these different arenas, the culture of those arenas changes. It evolves. And my conversation tonight is it evolving for the better? Is it getting better? Is it creating a better level of performance? And I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it just depends on who's making the evaluation, who's judging. I don't want to take away from anybody's skill level, because I do believe, the evolution of all of these areas and the skill level involved in what's actually being displayed is second to none. I don't believe that the skill level has fallen. I believe it's elevated. I think that people are doing things in all of these spaces that we've never seen before. But as far as performance and competition, everybody knows there's a difference in the preseason and the regular season. There's a difference in the regular season and the playoffs, and there's a difference in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, or the playoffs in any championship, or the regular season in any preseason. Like, what you do in practice and what you do in an exhibition game and what you do in the Pro Bowl is not as well revered or as respected as what you do in the heat of competition. And I think that's part of what's missing. I do think that there is competition, but I think that there's not the same level of challenge. Like, we want to see high level play. We want to see high level performance, but we're not looking at high level challenge. We're not looking at, if let's just say in basketball, it's a common theme and people are talking about it. Like, there's a level of defensive prowess. There's a level of defensive effort, of pride, that we're just not seeing in competitive team sports. In basketball specifically, for me, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this year's All-Star game was ridiculous. There's a team that scored 200 points. There was no competition. In years past, maybe the first 2 quarters, first 3 quarters, people are trying to hurt each other. They're not really impeding each other. They understand that there's a whole nother half of the season to go, and everybody's just out there enjoying each other's talent. But it gets to a point where these players, they're competitive at heart. And there's a level of pride where they're not just going to let stuff go. So, usually, you get down to the fourth quarter and now people start playing. And then it looks like what it should have been from the very beginning was the best of the best competing with each other. And I don't want to make it a generational thing. I think that product and commerce plays a huge part in how hard do we want to make these things, or do we want to just showcase talent? Defense wins championships, but it doesn't boost ratings. Offense boosts ratings. So from rule changes to game changes to, if the NBA wants people to score and they're paying people to score, the people that are trying to be in the NBA are going to train to score. And when you're in a league where these individuals are, their peers a lot more than their competitors, everybody's seeking, and I don't want to get in the way of the bag. I don't want to get in the way of your money. I don't want to, listen, at a certain point, we need to challenge each other. Like the reverence that we have for competition in all of these areas from the past is, not only was the talent great, but the obstinance or the obstacle of that talent was great. Like the defense was just as great as the offense. And to win, if you had to get stops, if you had to overcome the defense, that just said that your offense was on another level. Your determination, your heart. Like, we're all talented, but those intangibles that you have to get past someone of equal or greater talent on the other side, those are marks of greatness. So we see a lot of talented players and a lot of talented individuals today, but are we seeing greatness? And not greatness like, okay, this is greatness defined in 2024. Because nobody is looking at that All-Star game in the NBA this 2024 season as greatness. It looks like trash. It looks like a layup line with everybody up on the floor. It looks crazy. And I'm probably gonna focus on a couple of things because that's just what I'm into. But I'll try my best to let this reach far outside of my personal favorites. We talk about music, we talk about hip hop. A certain part of that culture is battling, is a competition between one person and another, between one block and another, between one crew and another. When it comes to the music, being an MC, there's a level of originality and a level of skill that we wanted to show. We wanted to show that we were better, that we had our own style and that it was better than those people that were around us. And it created legends. And now our music is disposable. And it's celebrated for being disposable. Like, it's no longer an art form, it's a hustle. And with the hustle, nobody cares about the quality. They only care about the quantity. They care about being the new hot trend, not necessarily being the dopest on the mic. You actually get ridiculed, which to me is bananas. Like, something that I grew up wanting to be a part of my whole life, like wanting to represent it, study. And I don't even want to say studying it. I just loved the music. And I understood, I didn't need to see beef, but I know the spirit of these people when they get, when you sit down with a pad and a pen and you're a part of this thing, it doesn't matter if anybody knows you. Even if you have your favorite MC, you're trying to rap better than them. You're trying to write better than them. You're trying to make songs that you think would garner their respect. Like, you're not just doing something to say, yo, this is hot and I could get 5 million streams off of this. Like, that's just not where our mind was. But that's where the art form, or that's where the business of hip hop is at right now. And if the point is to make money, that's great. Nobody's gonna remember the songs that are playing right now. Like, I think that's why certain terms get thrown around so quickly, because they want to stamp them in a way where they'll be remembered. But before hip hop had a bunch of press and a bunch of advertisement and all of this exposure, we got classic hip hop tapes, classic songs that maybe never ever showed up on a streaming platform ever. Like, there's some stuff that you only heard again, either if you were listening to the radio at that time when it came on, or if somebody recorded it when it was being played on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have the Rockefeller freestyles when they came and took over the radio station. Like, I have that. I download. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are things that you'll never see again. You'll never see a whole crew go up to a radio station just to show how dope they are, and all the MCs just go and give crazy ill freestyles or writtens that they remember, just verses, just giving bars to the city like, yo, this is us. It's like, you'll never see that again, because people don't care enough about it. They're like, yo, if I can't make money off of it, I'm not giving this away for free. I get that, but there's a level, like, this is a culture. This is not simply a commerce. We've learned to monetize a piece of our culture and not give it away for free. But the reason why people want it is because it was great before they had to pay for it. Now it's not great. Now it's repeatable. Now it's microwave, and the art form is in jeopardy of going away. And if all we're talking about is making money, I understand, and this conversation is a moot point. Like, there's no purpose in what we're talking about. But I think the culture of calling criticism hate, of like actually having a real spirit of competition and opposition, as, yo, you're trying to keep me away from the bag, or you're trying to stop my shine, or like, no, this is competition. I get shine from being a great opposition, an oppositional force. Like, there's greatness in that. There's greatness in you overcoming me. Like, that's what competition does. It pushes each person to another level. Like, the great defender deserves the same bag as the great offender, the great offensive player, the skill level. Like, how can you have an art form and then say, yo, I'm mad that you're judging my art? Don't put it out in the world for people to hear if you don't want to hear what people have to say about it. Now, is it a problem that your art's worth is based off of reviews by one or two different, media outlets? That's debatable. But if you got a question on, possibly being shut down because these people aren't going to love what you do, then make undeniably great music. Spend some fucking time in the lab. Like, actually ask yourself, can you be, like, do you even care to be great? A lot of people don't even care enough to be great. I'm a contributor. Like, I make music. There's stuff that I've recorded that will never see the light of day because I don't even like it. I'm not in love with my own voice. I do feel like no matter how big or small I am, I'm making music in the same space and vein as my idols. And I don't say idols, as the people that I look up to as far as hip hop artists. Like, if I didn't think that I could play a song that I made for my favorite artist, then I wouldn't record it. I wouldn't allow anybody to, like, have a record of what I did because I hold myself to a certain standard. I'm not Jay-Z, I'm not Tupac, I'm not Scarface, I'm not those people, but in my way, if I don't believe that I'm the best or can be one of the best, then there's no reason for me to even do this. Not in my eyes. It's just the spirit. I grew up breakdancing. We're battling. It's crews. I have a job to do. My job is to get on the floor and really make it hard for somebody to come behind me. I think this era's lack of competitive nature and not, listen, I don't want to say that this generation is not competitive because they are. I just think that it's really more an exhibition. It's like, let me see your best move. Okay, now let me show my best move. And now everybody, love what we're doing. And I think you get a certain level of talent, you get a certain level of performance, you get a certain level of product when you do that. Now, if we're playing basketball and you're trying to do your best move and I'm trying my best to stop your best move, how much better than what you think you are do you need to be to get past me? And then what level of game are you showing? And then me being a defender, if I think I can defend a bunch of people and now you're giving me your best, now how good of a defender do I need to be when I know that you're trying to elevate your game to get past my defense? Now I gotta try to match you. So I gotta push myself to the next level. Those are the things that create greatness, that create classic moments. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody's so afraid of, getting called a hater or, Like, I just don't understand. I don't want to say people are sensitive, because it's not. I think there's an amazing thing that happened once we were getting compensated for our skill set. But I think what has been lost is now everybody wants to get paid for their skill set, but everybody is not skilled, not in the same way and not on the same level. But since there's money involved and nobody wants to be responsible for keeping money out of somebody's pocket, now they've created a culture where it's like, yo, just get out the way and let me do my thing. And that's why you have these games, in addition to the common viewer, he wants to see that level. He wants to see more offense. He wants to see high scores. He wants to see, it's not about competition. It's about who can score the most. It's not about competition. It's about who can make the trendiest song. It's not about competition. It's really about an exhibition, and then who can get paid for it. And I just don't think that is creating or contributing to greatness. And that's what this is about. We need to be great. We should want to be great. And I don't think that's what we're seeing. So, this is just my 2 little cents. I don't claim to know everything about everything, but I do, in my opinion, believe that we have a watered down version of greatness that we're witnessing right now, and that's why nobody really cares. People don't really care. They really, and here's how you can tell, because sports betting, it was existent, but it was really underground. There were a couple places in the United States where it was legal, but it wasn't as mainstream. You have sports broadcast outlets and podcasts and things of that nature who are sponsored by sports betting apps and companies, because that's the only way to keep viewership up, to get people to care, is can we make money off betting, not even wins and losses, on stats. Is this player going to score more than 25 points tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, I can't even, when people hear, individuals from older generations having these conversations, and they're like, yo, what's up, old school, and, yada, yada, yada. It's like, nah, young blood, like, I don't think that you can make it where I came from. And that's sad, because in the progression, you should be better. Like, your skills should serve you in a space where if you did come back to where I was at, that you would show us the fact that you have an elevated skill set. Now, I think people will be too busy crying about, yo, you're playing me too rough. You playing me too close. Don't talk about my songs. Don't say it out loud on TV that my songs are whack, when they really are. Like, we don't even care about the same things that we used to care about. And if that's growth and progression, then I guess that's what it is, and I'm just past my time. I appreciate music, and if I like it, I like it. If it move me, it move me, and if it don't, it don't. But I can't be dishonest and say that I think the level of skill that's being shown at this day and age, that the quality that we're being given and exposed to is similar to what I had growing up. The anticipation, you couldn't wait for certain people to drop because you just knew, like you knew what they did on their last joint. You couldn't believe or couldn't wait to see what they did on this one. Now, like, what are you anticipating? Like, they don't even release music. All the dope shit is out before the album even drops. You know, it's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. But, you know, it's where we at. So we got to make do with it. But I'm going to speak the truth, or at least what I feel the truth is on these things that I'm talking about. Till next time.